At this point, we're going to take a look at a demonstration of scanning for hosts on a network using the NMAP tool. Now, a couple of things I'd like to say here. First of all, NMAP is an open source software program, meaning that it's freely available to anyone who wants to download it and use it. It's downloadable in formats for every operating system from Windows to BST to Mac to Linux. Now, this tool is available from the website www.insecure.org. Now, when using NMAP, you should be aware that NMAP is a very intrusive tool and is largely considered a hacking utility. So using this tool against systems that you either don't own or don't have permission to scan can be considered illegal. So make sure you use it responsibly and generally scan your own network for testing and lab purposes. So let's take a look at a quick demonstration. Now at this point, we basically just want to find out what's going to be on our network. And the very simple way to do that is to use a ping scan type of NMAP scan. So we're going to do a V for verbose and an SP for scan ping, followed by the actual subnet that we want to scan. Now we're on the 192.168.66 subnet with a 24-bit subnet mask. So we're going to initiate that scan, and I actually have that scan in a text file that we can take a look at real quick. As you can see, that scan went really fast. We've gotten a couple of different IPs that are up. I'm going to go ahead and pull up kwrite so we can see. And the file that I have is actually named kwrite as well. So this is an example of what you just saw. And if we look through this, we'll eliminate the items that are showing down. So we'll clean this up a little bit. We're not too worried about DNS resolution. Those are almost statistical performance counters, if you will. And it's also going to tell us the MAC address, obviously, of the host that we're scanning, because that's going to be contained within the ping request itself. So there you go. These are all the systems that are up and running. So that's a pretty clean-cut look at what's available to us on our network. Now, as you can see, we really haven't gotten a lot of information other than the fact that there are X number of IP addresses that are responding to ping requests. And although this is valuable information, we might want to get a little bit more detailed. And that's where we move into the future of what we're going to talk about next, being enumeration of information. For now, I also want to show you some of the things that we mentioned about doing UDP scanning. In the example that we just did, this is essentially an ICMP scan. So it happened very quickly, and for us, happens to be very responsive. But for all we know, there could be lots more IP addresses out there that aren't responding to ICMP. So we might try a UDP scan. Again, it's going to be slow, and it may not give us the results we're looking for, but I definitely want to show you how it works. We're going to ask for that verbose again, but this time we're going to do a scan U for scan UDP. Same network. And because this is going to take a pretty good amount of time, I'm actually going to go ahead and show you the file that I've created so we can look at what the results are going to be. This is going to be the results of the UDP scan that we just initiated. And it's actually giving us quite a bit of information. We can see that on this particular host, .1, we can see various UDP style ports are open and offering their services, such as network time, NetBIOS name resolution, as well as Microsoft services. So if we move down a little bit, we can also see that we picked up another system, .128, which is running the DHCP client as well as trivial file transfer protocol. But one thing to keep in mind is that there could be 100 other ports listening on this system that simply don't respond to UDP information. So although this is all great and wonderful information, you can see we've gotten lots of responses, but one of the things to keep in mind, this may be the exact opposite of what's open. In some scenarios, UDP will say, yes, all of these are open, when in fact it's exactly the reverse. All the things that aren't shown here are open, and these are all closed. I don't believe that's the case in this scenario, but we'll have to find out more information as we go along.